going on? Okay, now you're on.
Okay.
Okay. You want to start over on this one?
Did you want to start over?
There we go. All right.
All right. So, like I said before, we had to take a quick medication break. So the Zoe, take her meds. She forgot to take her meds early. And everybody's like, "Hello, did you forget something?"
Yeah, I had a little mini SVT episode. Just a little one. My heart rate shot up to, it was above 140. So I had to lay down on the floor. And of course, the dogs want to lay with me because that's how they are. These two are hilarious. They are both currently laying down on the floor in front of us, thank goodness. But yeah, it sucks sometimes having SVT. SVT is supraventricular tachycardia. So occasionally my heart rate just kind of skyrockets out of nowhere. It just happens. A lot of times there are, I have like little mini episodes that are a precursor to a large one. So I haven't had one since my hysterectomy last November, which thank goodness I haven't. But yeah, just, sometimes it just happens. And me taking my medication on a regular schedule, which this is the first time in a very, very, very long time. It's been over a year since I didn't take my medicine at the time, at 4:30 when I normally take it. So, yeah, my body was like, "Hey, girl, you better get it together." So that just means I need to change my notification, my little task reminder on my calendar so that this doesn't happen again. Because
And that was something that you inherited, right?
well, so every doctor that I've come across has said SVT is not inherited. However, my mother had SVT. She had a cardiac ablation and took care of it. She actually had 2 extra electrical channels in her heart that was interfering with her heartbeat, and she had it from the time that she was young. And nobody ever knew what it was. And of course, like my grandmother had it and my great grandmother had it. And then of course they had like anemia, and I had severe anemia, but I forgot what the name of the anemia that they had. But also my grandmother had, she had an adrenal malfunction. And my great grandmother had the same thing. I can't remember what it's called, but we'll look it up and like put it in the comments on the podcast. But my grandmother died from it, and then during my grandmother's autopsy, they found that she had scalloped ridges inside of her small intestines, which means she had celiac disease. And then my mother got diagnosed with celiac disease when she was in her 50s, I think. And so I am gluten sensitive, but I do not have celiac. I have SVT though. And every doctor that we've spoken with, every specialist that I've seen has said, "Oh, SVT is not inherited." Well, I'm not so sure about that, because there's a lot of people that I know that have been diagnosed with PSVT or SVT, and PSVT is paroxysmal supraventricular tachycardia. But there's a lot of people that I know that have been diagnosed with this disease who their family members have had the same thing happen to them, but doctors don't talk about it. It's like nobody wants to believe that it's inherited, but there's a lot of traits that we have that are inherited. Before, we didn't think breast cancer was inherited. And now we know that it is. So I wonder when that research is coming for SVT or electrical heart malfunctions, right? You know, if you have a family history of AFib, then typically you have a higher incidence of producing AFib, right? Why are doctors not believing the same thing happens with SVT? Anyway, that's my little soapbox for what's going on with me. But it's difficult to plan around. It's difficult to live with SVT. And when I was going through, like, having episodes back to back, we were at the emergency room. The nurses really got to know me, and I got so sick of the doctors telling me, oh, well, could it be anxiety? Every single time. Well, maybe you need to lose weight. Every single time. Every time we went to the emergency room, have you thought about seeing a psychiatrist? The last Black ER doctor that I saw, I looked at him and I said, if you say that this is anxiety, I am going to scream. This is not anxiety. I've had one anxiety attack before in my life. One, and it was at work. And I was 36 when that happened. So I know what that feels like. This is not anxiety. This is something else. And it took, I think, 4 Holter monitors. Mm-hmm. The last one that I wore, which was a Bluetooth one, I had to like download an app on my phone. That was a pain in the butt because I was sensitive to the glue. And so the glue was like making me really red and itchy. And I had bumps on my skin, but I couldn't take this thing off for 30 days.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about genetic predispositions. A lot of times you don't find out that you know have these health issues or these health disparities until later on in life, after you've got out there and lived a little bit. Like your mom found out in her 50s that she had it. You found out in your late 30s.
Well, my mom found out when she was 42 that she had
right.
SVT, and it took a foreign doctor. The ER doctor that she saw was Greek, and he said, I know exactly what this is. I think she went through 2 Holter monitors before they were able to find that she had SVT, but she didn't get diagnosed with celiac disease until she was in her 50s. Ooh. And imagine going through life, having a chronic illness, having something that can destroy your adrenal system, destroy your intestines, wreak havoc on your stomach. I mean, for a little bit, we thought she might have had a pylori infection. Mm-hmm. And this was just recently because of celiac. And there's so many bad things that can happen from SVT in combination with other chronic diseases, other long-term diseases that you have. All the literature that I'm reading says, oh, you can't die from SVT. Well, then there's a few studies that I found, foreign studies that I found, that says, yes, you can in fact die from SVT. People have passed away because your heart just, it can work overload and it can kill you. And it's not, like, these studies are not in the United States. And I don't know what is going on with our medical community in the US, but we just don't take illnesses with women as seriously as we should.
That's true. That's true. And
I have personal experience with it.
And with, find out as we get more and more women physicians into the field, you would think that it would ease up a little bit.
No.
Then you find that, sometimes women are just as bad, if not worse, when it comes to dealing with, women patients. And it's like, well, you're a woman, you should be able to identify with some of my concerns, but, I don't know if it's just the indoctrination through the schooling or what it may be, but it's just...
Well, you remember...
It's crazy, yeah, I know.
My OB that I had, and I had to switch doctors
shocked
because...
and disappointed.
She said I should get a gastric bypass surgery because she did not want to, number one, admit me into the hospital for a hysterectomy. And at first I was like, wait a minute, you admit your patients in for a C-section. Why would you not admit me to the hospital for a hysterectomy? She's like, oh, we should be able to release you the next day. Hold up, that is a major surgery. You are taking out a body part of mine, and you don't think I should stay in the hospital, but overnight? Then she said, because of your weight, I am afraid that you're going to die on my table. She literally said this to me, that I was gonna die on the table. I'm like, what the hell? She said, I recommend you getting your stomach stapled. Gastric bypass. There is a great doctor that I can send you to, a gastroenterologist, who can perform the surgery for you, but I really think that's the only way that we're gonna get your weight under control. Now, I'm on Ozempic. I've lost 60 pounds, okay? I have gained some of that weight back. Not because I overeat, because I was actually malnourished for a while, and I was extremely, chronically anemic because, of course, my uterus was killing me. And then to have this doctor tell me that I need to get my stomach stapled because she didn't want to perform a hysterectomy on me, weighing 200 and how much did I weigh at the time? 200. I was 286 pounds. And I was like, this is a serious situation. I am dying. My body is killing me. Literally dying. I was cold all the time. My lips were purple all the time. My fingernails were blue. Like, I was dying because my periods were so heavy. My body was killing me. And you want me to get my stomach stapled? Like, make that make sense. And he's over here trying to fight. Like, he's like, we got to find another doctor. We got to do something about this. And Ryan, I know you felt kind of helpless, didn't you? For a while, because we couldn't find answers from anybody. Everybody was telling me, lose weight, you have anxiety. Lose weight, you have anxiety. And neither one of those issues, well, I mean, I needed to lose weight. I still need to lose weight. But I did not have anxiety. And I was being gaslit. And I was being told that I needed to take medication. One time we went to, I'm not going to say the name of the hospital, but we went to the ER and they didn't want to deal with me. So they pumped me full of Ativan and kicked me out of the ER because I was having an SVT episode, and they said, we ran the EKG and we didn't find anything wrong with your heart. You have anxiety. We're gonna, without my permission, they injected me with Ativan. And I was angry when I got in the car because they injected me with Ativan. I'm not kidding you, 10 minutes. They had my paperwork. They were like, we need you out of here now. And the nurses picked me up and put me in a wheelchair and said, you're going home. Here's your discharge paperwork. And at home we went. I was so mad. I was like, I want to sue this hospital, but it's not even worth it because why? They're going to keep doing this to overweight women, overweight men, overweight anybody. They, thems. He, she's, and they, thems. They're going to keep doing this to us because I really believe in my heart, and I see so many stories online all the time. I believe in my heart that there is fat phobia in this country, and they think that because we're big, we're unhealthy. We're eating ho-hos and ding-dongs and stuff. I don't even like dessert. I don't even like dessert like that. Every once in a while, I'll have something sweet, but most of the time, it's fruit. And not even fruit juice. I don't even drink juice. Well, I do drink cranberry juice with vodka sometimes. But I don't drink juice. I don't drink soda. How often do you see me drinking a soda?
Not often. Not often.
I had Diet Coke today. But that's because I had a Bacardi and Coke, Diet Coke. Because it don't have no calories. But chronic diseases for people my size, it's horrifying. Horrifying living through trying to get medical care, trying to get decent medical care, and nobody takes you seriously. And I know that's near and dear to your heart too.
That's why I do what I do. Because, why are you over here?
You guys, Bo is over there by Ryan. Now he's over here by me.
You just cannot.
He can't. Sit down. Hold on. Because I know somebody's going to want to see you eventually. Come here, Bobo. Come here. Come here. Get up here.
Well, those type of health disparities and those type of social economic issues with, the system mistreating or ill-treating or maltreating patients because, they don't have the technology or the expertise to make a test the situation or test the condition, and they don't really bother. So, it doesn't matter you being able to afford a specialist that can actually get to your problem. But, that's neither here nor there. But as a public health professional, I still strive to make sure that, people are aware and educated about, opportunities and different solutions and alternatives to problems like this. There is a book that I want to put a plug in, and it's very controversial. As a matter of fact, it's more controversial than what we're doing on the show.
What's the
book?
But
it's called Medical Apartheid.
Oh. Yeah.
So there's a history of the stuff that's going on right now, specifically with women patients. But, you read it for yourself and you form your own opinion. But it's very deep, and I always recommend it for people that's new into the healthcare field and gung-ho about doing, making a difference. But they just need to be realistic about the indoctrination and some of the stuff they're going to learn as they get out there. The book answer is just the book answer in theory, but till you get your hands dirty and actually do something, then you realize that there's a case by case basis, and one size does not fit all.
How do you feel about taking care of a spouse who has an illness?
Well, it's definitely something that needs to be done. You never know.
No, how do you feel? I'm not talking about like in general speaking. How do you personally, Ryan, Mr. Robinson, how do you feel about taking care of a spouse who has a chronic illness?
I just said it. Feel like it has to be done. It's not nothing to read into or do a long soliloquy about. It has to be done. It's just a matter of getting educated and finding out what the issues are, and then doing whatever you can do. So it has to be done. So that's what I feel like. Get it done. Learn the condition. See what the disparities are, and what what type of periods and stuff like that.
You see the difference between the two of us. He's so strategic and analytical and very fact-based. I'm all emotional and like rah, rah, rah. Really bull in China shop. I'm a Taurus. He's a Capricorn, by the way. Just in case you guys didn't pick up on that.
So, that this is our next episode. We're talking about health disparities and first-hand experiences, the stuff that we've been dealing with in the system. So stay tuned and watch our next video. And follow the channel. So our new channel is called The Ageless Defiance.
Ageless Defiance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're ageless and I'm defiant.
Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part. No, not even for the most part. Like, wholeheartedly. I am a rule follower to an extent. To an extent, right? I love bucking the system, boy.
Yeah.
I love a good puzzle, a good challenge. I like to debate. When I can remember names of medications and diseases and things. I love to debate.
Mm-hmm.
I like to talk about important things though too, especially, topics and stuff that affect us directly. Ryan is more cerebral in that aspect. I am more emotional. So what he doesn't say out loud, I'm like, crazy. Ryan is so calm and put together, but when it comes to football season, this goes away.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about football right
We're not? Are you sure?
Even though it's
Are you sure?
Even though the season's coming up.
Are you sure you don't want to tell everybody who our teams are? They should know that there's an in-house rivalry.
For another episode.
Okay. All right. We have a huge in-house rivalry. Huge, like going back not centuries. Going back to how long has this rivalry?
And she's determined to talk about it.
Gone on for years.
She's determined to talk about this rivalry, but we'll deal with that.
That'll for sure be on another episode when football season starts. I absolutely cannot wait.
Okay.
To talk to you about football.
So y'all have a good night. Have a good week.
Bye.
And we'll see you next time.
Are you going to stop yours?